This is coffee number 5. I'm your host, Lara Schmoisman.
Hi, you guys. Welcome back to coffee number 5. Today, I'm super excited because, I always say that I'm not that young anymore. And I love that someone took that concept and took it to the next level, actually, and thought that we're better, not younger. So let me introduce you to Sonsoles Gonzalez, that I also found out that she's a fellow Latina. And so welcome to coffee number 5.
Thank you, Lara. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm so happy to have you here because I want to know a little bit about your story, and you found the problem that you actually had, and you created a solution.
Yes, absolutely. So I actually created Better Not Younger out of my own need. When I couldn't find products that would work with my hair, like when I hit my 50s, I had actually spent over 25 years working in the industry. So I had worked with many of the big brands like Pantene and Herbal Essences and L'Oréal. And I realized that brands and products that worked well for me that weren't working anymore. And it's because my hair had changed, just like the rest of my body was changing. My skin was changing, my body, my sleep patterns.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So I decided to learn a little bit more about what was going on with hair as we age. And as it turns out, a lot goes on. So we all notice kind of the grain. That's sort of the obvious sign. But there's so much more than the loss of pigmentation. You have follicles that are shrinking. So your hair grows thinner. You have follicles that are going into the dormant or the shedding phase more often and for longer. So you're experiencing hair loss, or you may be experiencing hair that just doesn't grow. Our bodies are producing less oils or natural oils. And so that impacts the dryness of your scalp and the dryness of your hair. So your hair will be more brittle, more prone to breakage. You're going to get more frizz. All of this is happening at the same time. And it also is happening at a time when you're probably doing the most harm to your hair because you're coloring very often.
Yep.
You're using a lot of stylers to compensate for what used to be your hair that you can't manage anymore. So I kind of call it the perfect storm against your hair. People don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah. So, I love also, I was looking at your website that you have a quiz that they help you to go through the trajectory of understanding the problems in your hair, because sometimes it's like my hair falling, but you don't realize that you have other issues in your hair. Like it can get dry scalp, like you said, or like why it's happening, how much you're coloring. Like, for example, I absolutely hate to see my gray hairs, and I have dark hair, so you can see it really well. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, I see dark hair. I need to do something about it. A gray hair.
Yeah,
so
great.
How did you go about creating your own line and strategizing, and also to put it out there? What steps did you take?
Sure. So the first thing, first thing I did was really understand also the demographics. So, right. How big is this segment of people? And it turns out that it's very, very big because, whilst marketers have been focusing so much in millennials and Gen Zs, the reality is that there are a lot of women in this demographic. Over 80 million women in the US alone are over 40. They also have a lot more spending power than the younger consumer. They invest a lot. And so to me, that said, okay, there's a market out there. Then I realized I did a little bit of, researching, and I realized that there weren't any brands that were really speaking to her. And in the beauty industry in general, the only sort of the beauty standard is usefulness. So it's always about looking younger, right? And I felt that there's a bit of a disconnect there because women still want to participate in the beauty industry. They want to be a part of this, but they're constantly told, by a 25-year-old what you need to do to stay young. And so that also led to the creation of the name. So calling it Better Not Younger was the move towards kind of speaking towards this feeling that many women in my age group have, which is like, I just want to look the very best I can. I don't necessarily want to look younger. I will not look younger. It's impossible,
Well, the
right?
thing is impossible to look younger. You can age graciously.
Right. You can age whatever way you want to age, but you always want to feel confident. You want to feel like the very best, whatever makes you feel good. If for you, people, it may be Botox. For other people, maybe just graying, letting their gray hair. But whatever it is, you want to feel like you are in control, that you have, control over how you look.
So how did you start the process? Because you have tons of SKUs. You have so many products now. Did you start with a line, or we started with one product? How did you start it?
Actually, I started with most of the products that I have. There are about 12 SKUs. And the reason for that is because, first, I just love creating products, but also it's because I realized that there wasn't like a one single silver bullet solution to all the hair problems, and that would be very, a misconception to think that you use this product and everything is going to be fine. And so our products were designed around the three areas that impact the hair. One is the scalp. So the scalp has everything to do with the hair you're going to get in the future, right? So the hair is being produced by the follicles, and then the hair that grows depends on the conditions that you get your scalp at that point, right? So you want to tackle that. Then you have the signs of every day. So the dryness, the frizziness, the oiliness, this whatever condition you may have that bothers you, like itchy scalp. And so our line of shampoos and conditioners and stylers are designed to deal with all the signs of your aging hair. And then finally, we also have supplements, because supplements are critical to the health of your hair. People may not realize it, but the hair really depends on the nutrients in your body. And as we age, our bodies become less efficient in taking those nutrients from your food. And so that's why you need to supplement with the vitamins and zinc and magnesium and whatever iron, whatever deficiency your body may have, even if you're eating really well. So that's how we ended up with the lineup. The way I created the products is I partnered with a scientist who was in the beauty industry, who worked with me part-time, then full-time, then part-time. And she was really passionate about the idea. So she helped me create the formulation, working with the lab that actually produced the product. So
one of the big issues of creating a product is quantities, that you need to create so much. And in your case, that you created so many products, how did you work with the quantities?
Well, I mean, I had to make a bet in the sense of, like, I ended up purchasing a lot of product at the beginning that perhaps I didn't know whether I was going to sell. But, I negotiated as best as I could with the lab that was going to produce, trying to get it down to maybe runs of 3,000 units or 5,000 units. But then the bottle production is also an issue. They also have very large MOQs, which are the minimum order quantities. But I had to put the money together, raise some funds with some friends, and then lean forward and did the first purchase. And quite honestly, the first batches we sold within maybe 6 months or so. So we were able to deplete that, and then we knew more.
How did you do that first approach to selling? Who was your target audience? How did you know who to go to?
Well, we opened up our website, and then we started marketing through digital marketing, little by little, putting ads on Facebook primarily, on Instagram, which back then they were actually very efficient. You could run advertising, invest $1, and you would get like $1 back in sales, or $1.50 back in sales, or $2. So little by little, we started spending maybe $100 a day, then $200 a day, $300, and so on.
This is something I love that you're saying this, because people think that it is you put a website out there and it will work by itself. And it's so not true. You need to have marketing money besides the cost of creating the marketing and your team. And I'm not saying this as an agency owner because it's my business, but also it's something that I see all the time with people come to us and they're not considering their marketing budget for advertising.
Yeah, I mean, acquiring customers is very difficult. More after the privacy changes that Apple implemented, the iOS 14. And so, yeah, if you're not able to invest, you're never going to get people to see. If you Google Better Not Younger today, you're going to, immediately get, if you Google a lot of terms that you Google, you will find Better Not Younger shown there. But that was not the case at the beginning. You have to advertise. You have to put content out there. You need to be investing in PR as well so that you get talked about. Yeah,
and it will take you time and money because it's not going to happen. It's a slow process to get you PR, to get you the real PR that you're not paying for an article, to that hard-earned PR. It takes time.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be 4 years next month, this month actually. So yeah, it's taken us years of investing and trying many things to get to where we are.
Yeah. How many years are you in the business?
4 years.
And where are you selling right now?
So right now we sell online, Amazon. We're in 760 Ulta stores, expanding into more. And then on HSN, Whole Shopping Network.
That's amazing. And all that in 4 years, that's an incredible growth. So what's next for you?
So right now our priority is to consolidate Ulta because as I say, we're expanding into like 600 more stores. So full distribution, more SKUs, more products, more shelves. And so really making that work, it's a lot of work executionally and then support it with marketing so that we can really make it successful.
So in terms of, let's talk about those little things that people don't know. When you create a brand, what are those things that, I didn't know that I need this? What were those unexpected or surprises or not great surprises?
A lot of surprises. Well, you talked a little bit about MOQs and the quantity. So most manufacturers will ask you minimum orders of 5,000 units or 5,000 or 10,000 bottles and things like that. So, and payment terms are not very favorable. Usually you have to put the money up front. So that was one thing. The other thing is, creating a website requires, it's a lot of work as well. You have to create a lot of assets, a lot of storytelling, a lot of photos, a lot of everything to be able to tell your story. And you have to constantly monitor and track it and update it and change it. And so that is a lot of work. Another surprise for me was you have to have insurance.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're going, any retailer that you go to will require that you have insurance.
Yeah, even Amazon.
So you have to have insurance, and insurance is also costly. What else? You have to know also that we were talking about this earlier, that there may always going to be some smart attorney here and there that is trying to go after you for something you said or did not say or do. And so you have to be very careful with what you
the claims that you make.
Plans, what you say, what you don't say, how you say it, and be always very sure that you have the data to substantiate or some type of support.
Let me ask you a question. 2 more things that a lot of people don't take in considerations, like to go to trade shows. Are you doing any trade shows?
We have never gone to a trade show because I was able to contact I was able to get the distribution that I wanted, which was Ulta, without it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have that, then definitely going to a trade show gets you a lot of visibility.
How did you get yourself into Ultra?
I had met somebody through some other meeting in the past that ended up working at Ulta, so I contacted her and started conversations, and that's how we.
That's amazing. That's really impressive. And see, that's why it always is important to network and to talk to people. You never know.
Absolutely, yes. Always network. That's one thing that I always do all the time.
Absolutely. Do you think, because there's so many this space of the beauty industry, is like everyone wants to be in. Do you think anyone should just come and try to have a beauty product out there? What would you recommend them to do before they make that decision? Because I see a lot of people interested in having a product out there, but they are not thinking about the distribution or the cost. And like we were talking earlier before the podcast about having photography or the right images or working with influencers, everything is costly. So you have to have a plan.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is to understand that you do have a differentiated idea, that there's something special about your proposition, that your value proposition is unique and it will stand out, and that you have a real brand. I mean, you may have a wonderful product, but if you don't know how to explain it or how to say it, then it doesn't go anywhere. But the same token, if you have a really, really nice brand idea, but the products don't really deliver, then the same thing. So I always say you need to have the fundamentals right, and that is to have an idea that's new, different in the market, and a product that supports the benefits that you're offering, and a identity of the brand that stands out. And so like I see many brands still being launched under like clean beauty, like clean skincare, and there's a million brands already saying clean. That was distinctive 10 years ago. Now,
and that's changing. That claim, it can get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and that it's changing, and also, everybody's claiming it, so it's not differentiated. It's important, but it's not different. And so it's important that you have a point of difference in the market. Otherwise, you're just going to be a me too, and then you're not going to win the investment war against somebody else, unless you're a super millionaire and you're willing to throw money at whatever. But if you're just counting on the brand to tell the story, then you have to start there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here in Coffee Number 5. I really enjoy spending time with you and learning more about your brand and all the information that you share with us. And you guys out there, I really hope that you were able to learn from this amazing experience.
Thank you so much for having me.
And to you guys, again, I'll see you next week in more Coffee Number 5. Bye there.
It was so good to have you here today. See you next time. Catch you on the flip side. Ciao, ciao.